Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I will not eat one iota of shit. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend. That's not from Knives Out. Sorry, we were talking about Mr. Hanky before we were recording. But we're
South Park.
We are not dorking out about South Park. Although we totally can do South Park bigger, longer, and uncut sometime. That would be fun.
Absolutely, I'm in.
I'm in. All right, I'll put it on the list. But this week we're dorking out about 2019's Knives Out. This was a request, and a really good request. It is written and directed by Rian Johnson, who did my favorite of the newer Star Wars movies, The Last Jedi. Controversial opinion, apparently.
It's a great one. I'm into it too.
It is, I have to say, of all the new Star Wars movies, it's the one I've gone back to the most. It really is my favorite of the new ones. Never, not the original trilogy is my favorite, but
the original trilogy, but then, yeah, of those.
I love The Last Jedi. And this movie stars everyone who's awesome. Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Anna de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Don Johnson. Do you have thoughts about Don Johnson? I bet you do.
He's so fucking hot in this movie. It's distracting. And I know he's an asshole, but he ages well.
I was chatting with my sister before we started recording, and I said, I suspect Margo has thoughts about Don Johnson.
Yeah.
I was like, because the truth is, on this podcast, we love a silver fox.
He's like my old man crush.
Yes.
He's my new old man crush.
He looks so good. Toni Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, Catherine Langford, Christopher Plummer, Frank Oz is in there. Everyone who's awesome.
Ricky Lindholm.
Yes, everyone. Edie Patterson is Fran. There's some good people in this. So if you haven't seen Knives Out, please go watch it. It is streaming on Amazon Prime. And then come back. Don't spoil it for yourself, because we're going to spoil the shit out of this movie. So do not listen to this if you haven't seen Knives Out. It's a great movie, even if you know who done it. But I think you'll like it. It holds up. But I think don't ruin it for yourself. So come back. Did you see this movie in the theater, Margo?
I saw it at the Alamo Draft House.
Me too.
Yeah. It was just like a few months before the world went to hell. I think it was just around Thanksgiving. I super loved it. I love a good mystery.
Me too.
And it's been a while since, they don't do a lot of mystery movies anymore.
Yeah.
I guess they're tough to figure out and film. Sorry, can you hear that? That's a storm.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, well, there's a big storm happening right now. It's very exciting here.
So this is really bananas. So Margo's in Brooklyn and I'm in San Francisco. Here in San Francisco, it is gorgeous and clear and 70 degrees, and Margo is dealing with a thunderstorm. I'm a little jealous, to be honest.
It's so much fun when it happens.
Yes. So I also saw it at the Alamo Draft House, and I spent, like I do when I watch a mystery, I spent so much time trying to figure out the mystery that I really, really liked the movie, thought it was really, really good. During this rewatch, I appreciate it on a completely different level now. And I was like, this movie is fucking tight. It is tight and fun.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it on this rewatch. It is just fun and clever. When you saw it the first time, did you figure out how it all happens?
No.
Me neither.
I'm a total idiot. No, my mom could always figure things out. She grew up on Agatha Christie books and movies, and she was always really good at figuring that shit out. That's part of the fun for me, though, because I really never do know who done it. So
yeah, and this movie, like I said, it's super clever. You kind of know who done it pretty early, but we don't really know the whole story. So you're like, do I know the whole story? You don't, and so we should just go through yeah, Max, that's right. Max knows who done it. What a jerk Max is. Okay, anyway. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Did you give him a bone?
No. Maybe I need to give him a bone.
Yeah, I think you should do that.
Max. So let's run through the plot because I have thoughts and feelings. The movie opens up. It is the 85th birthday of Harlan Thrombey. Yeah. Christopher Plummer. And he's like this famous, very successful author. I guess, has he written murder mysteries? I think that's what they're, yeah. And his family has come to his beautiful house in, I think they're in Massachusetts. And here's the players. We've got his daughter, Linda, and that's Jamie Lee Curtis. She is married to Richard. That's Don Johnson. Silver Fox, Don Johnson.
Old man crush.
Yes. And their mean, but so damn fine son, Ransom. That is Chris Evans. And then we have Harlan's other son, Walt, and that's Michael Shannon, who's good in everything, by the way. So good. And
Brooklyn resident.
Is he?
Yeah, I've seen him on the subway a bunch of times.
Wait, you told me that's right. He's so tall.
Yeah.
He runs the family publishing company. He's got a son who's like an alt-right troll dipshit. That's the description from the movie. And that's Jacob, and it's Jaden Martell. And then we've got Joni. That is the widowed daughter-in-law, and that's Toni Collette. And then we meet Marta, and that's Anna de Armas, and she is this very sweet nurse they hired her, I guess, part-time originally, and then it turned out he needed more medical attention, but she says he really just needed a friend, and she has been working with them for a while, because there's this whole thing about, like, you're part of the family, we'll take care of you, but not really. Like,
no, she's help.
Yeah, she's help to them. They're such assholes.
They really are horrible. I mean, it's this gorgeous house. It's in Massachusetts, but they're not allowed to say where the location is, the crew. Like, they had to sign this document because I think about a bunch of weirdos, including me, would want to go by and see it because it's so beautiful.
Yes, that makes sense to me. So she is taking care of Harlan. So the night of his 85th birthday, he starts shaking shit up. He knows that Don Johnson's having an affair, and he's going to tell Jamie Lee Curtis. He tells Michael Shannon's character that doesn't want him running the publishing company anymore. He is writing Chris Evans out of the will. Like, he found out that Toni Collette's character is double dipping on tuition for her daughter's college, and so she's cutting her off like one night, and like the shit is just hitting the fan. Meanwhile, nice Marta is there just kind of lingering around the party, and she helps him upstairs, and they play their nightly game of Go where she beats him. And they have such a sweet relationship. Like, she is like, and they say this repeatedly throughout the movie, she is someone with a kind heart, and she's a nurse who really wants to take care of people, and she would 100% get the vaccine, just saying. And they are playing their game, and then she goes to give him his meds, and she thinks she's given him the wrong dose, that she's accidentally overdosing him on morphine, and he wants to protect her, and so he helps her come up with a plan to like keep her out of trouble, and he slits his own throat. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking when it happens.
Yeah.
Christopher Plummer is so amazing.
He is. He's
in this film.
So good in this.
He's always great.
And so we know like how it happened, but we don't know like why, I guess, or like, did she really make a mistake, or is there something else going on? Because there are a lot of other people that really would benefit from him being dead. So the movie puts us in this position of, so we know who did it, but because he wants her to get away with it, we're in this unusual position of rooting for her to get away with it.
There's also a lot of money
involved, and
she is the one. Do we spoil this far? Well, should we talk about Daniel Craig?
Yes. So the murder happens, and then I think it's a couple days later, the cops are still there, and they're just not 100% sold on the fact that it's suicide. So they are there, and then Daniel Craig shows up, and he is, I want to make sure I get it, Benoit Blanc. Benoit. See, you're so good at stuff. He shows up.
French.
I did not. I took Spanish. But I don't know any Spanish. How I passed that class, I don't know. He shows up. He is a private investigator. He is like a Sherlock Holmes type. And he doesn't know even who hired him to investigate this, but he shows up and he's just kind of hanging out with the cops and he's listening to people's stories. And that's when we're getting all these interviews with the family, with the police, and their versions of the stories are so like, I love how they all picture themselves next to him when the birthday cake comes out. Like they, in their head, like they are Christopher Plummer's favorite kid. And the truth is that's not the truth for any of them. But then that's how we meet Daniel Craig, and Daniel Craig is there and he knows like shit's not quite right.
He's being paid by somebody, nobody knows, it's anonymous. And he's kind of like the Poirot of the story, which is like Agatha Christie character that was very popular for years. But he's a Southern man, has kind of this foghorn leghorn accent.
I say.
I'll keep these numbered just for such occasions. But it's one of the best cartoons ever. He shows up and he's very smart and he's like just taking in what everybody's saying to him. And they're all nervous because they want the money.
Yes.
And they don't want to look like they're greedy, but they're all struggling in their own way to get this money. Ultimately, what happens is Ana de Armas is her character Marta, and they all like make a point of calling her Cuban, Puerto Rican.
Yeah, they don't even know where she's from.
They don't know where she's from, Guatemalan. They have no idea where she's from. But like we said, she's just help to them. And they're nice to her. They're glad she's doing her job, but they don't treat her as an equal.
No.
And when she's the one that's made the benefactor of the will,
oh my God,
the shit hits the fan, and it's amazing.
That scene is bananas. Okay, so leading up to that scene, Chris Evans shows up. He has not. He didn't show up for he was there at the birthday party, but then he left, and then he shows up again for the reading of the will, and he just antagonizes everybody, and he's like so shitty to everyone, and it's so hilarious because they're all so shitty. They are all shitty people, and he is shitty too. And the look on his face when it's announced that Marta is getting everything, and the smirk on his face, and then it's like a horror movie. Like the way they all start surrounding her, it's almost like they're hungry, greedy zombies, and they just kind of surround her, and she's like, bah, and she's like backing up, and she's trying to leave, and it totally just reminded me of a zombie movie.
Or Get Out.
Yes. Get Out.
And Chris is wearing, first of all, those eyelashes, are they real? He has beautiful eyes.
Chris Evans.
Dreamy.
Fucking gorgeous. He is a gorgeous, gorgeous man. He just is.
He's wearing this sweater. We all noticed the sweater, and I didn't realize till this time I watched it. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of holes in the sweater. Like Max noticed.
I know. He's like, yeah.
It's just so you don't know. He's so handsome, and he's like telling everybody to eat shit, because they didn't want to use the F word.
He's such a prick.
Yeah, they just turned it into eat shit. So he's antagonizing everybody. She's the one that becomes the one that is going to inherit everything. She's trying to leave the house because they're following her like psychos. And then he's the one who says, "Get in my car. We'll take off together."
Yes,
which is what they do. and he takes her to lunch, and they're playing Gordon Lightfoot. It's just
Oh
like
yeah,
the soundtrack here is
Sundown.
great. Yes.
That's a good song.
It's a great song, and the story behind that song is the woman, Kathy Evelyn Smith, the woman that inspired Gordon Lightfoot to write that song, true story. She was the one that gave John Belushi his last dose of drugs.
Oh. Ooh.
Okay.
Sundown. Okay.
She was a groupie in Canada, like for bands in Canada. She came to LA. She's the one that gave John Belushi the drugs. She's the one who gave him the speedball that killed him. And so it's interesting they use that song because in the end, Anna uses drugs to kill Christopher Plummer.
Yes.
Am I blowing your mind?
You are blowing my mind. I did not know this.
Right?
This movie just works on so many levels.
Exactly.
There's so much I appreciated about this rewatch. Like I said, the first time I want to be smart. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. Because like, it's like a contest, right? It's like, can I figure it out before the movie reveals it to me? And I couldn't. But this time I was so impressed with the family dynamics and the Christopher Plummer performance, because he is so sweet to Marta and she is so sweet to him, and they are really friends and he really cares about her. And maybe I even filled in some of this story myself in my head, but I feel like because of his friendship with Marta, because he meets someone who does have such a kind heart and really cares about him and not his money, that he realizes he has done his children no favors. That they have been handed everything, that he created these monsters. Like Jamie Lee Curtis's character in particular, she's like, I built my company from the ground up. And it's like, fuck off. Like, she got $1 million loan from her dad, like from the ground up, quote unquote. They all did. They all have been like taking from him this whole time. And because of that, they are so privileged. And they're so desperate to hold on to that privilege. And he wants to protect Marta, and that's why he does what he does. And he's hoping it's not too late to make his family better people. But it probably is too late. And I, once again, was hit by how gross these people are and how they will do anything to not lead a less privileged life.
I know this because I grew up around a lot of rich kids, and people freak out when they lose their money.
Yeah.
Or it becomes it's a comfort that it's easier to become a poor person that becomes wealthy versus a wealthy person who becomes poor, and there's the comfort with that. And like you said, like they're not used to having to like go on interviews and look for jobs, and they had everyting kind of handed to them.
And they wouldn't even be that poor, by the way. Like they would just be like
middle class.
Yeah, if maybe even like upper, like they're probably going to be really fine. Like it sounds like Jamie Lee Curtis's company is fine. It's just she didn't build it from the ground up. The story is wrong, but it sounds like it might be actually successful. They would all probably be fine. They just can't lose like one iota of power or privilege. And that the lengths that they will go to hold on to it is so gross that I really love this movie. And I do want to give a shout out to the performance of Ana de Armas. I think she's so good as Marta.
She's wonderful.
She is the heart of the movie, and I love that she is physically incapable of lying, that it makes her vomit.
Yeah, it's not a movie for amenophobes. If you are turned off by vomit, and a lot of people are, or grossed out by it, you learn that throughout in the story, that eventually, like, that's her defense mechanism. When she tells a lie, she immediately throws up. That's how good she is. Like, what a good person she is.
And And it's not that she's naive. She's not naive. She's really smart, but she is very kind and she has so much empathy for people. But she can still see that this family is full of assholes.
Yeah.
You know, she knows they're all assholes. Like Don Johnson, like the family sitting around and they're all arguing about politics at the birthday party. And they're clearly talking about Trump, but they're not saying Trump. And Don Johnson like waves for Marta to come in so he can use her as like a prop in his argument, basically. And she knows that they're all pricks and that she knows how to like bow out quietly so that she doesn't have to play their game. And I think the one that hurts the most is the daughter. I'm going to look up her name. It's Meg, played by Catherine Langford, because they're about the same age. And they seem to have some sort of friendship. And she confides in her and she tells her, like, her mom is undocumented. And Meg, with even the, like, hint that maybe she couldn't pay for college anymore, is quick to like hand Marta over and spill the beans about her undocumented mother, which they quickly try to turn against her. They're shitty. Basically, they're such shitty people. I keep saying that, but they really, really are. But Marta, Anna de Martis, she's so good in this movie.
She is. I love her. And Ransom is the son. He takes her away. And then he figures out pretty quickly that she probably did kill him, but it didn't do it on purpose. But he blows up the drug lab that had the drug results.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to get the money. He's still trying to be, he's being duplicitous.
Yeah. He says he's going to help her, but he still wants his cut of the inheritance if he helps her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he needs to buy more of those fucking hot sweaters.
He looks good in sweaters, man.
I sent Margo a link of where he bought a sweater that looks just like that for his dog. And him and his dog are like wearing the sweater. It's stupid. He's stupid hot is what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. It's like he's so handsome and he loves dogs and they're wearing matching sweaters. Come on.
We're only human.
It's not fair. It's not fair for someone to have that much. It's too much. Anyway, she makes her deal with Ransom. I can't believe his middle name is Ransom. He makes the help call him Hugh, but he goes by Ransom. He's such a prick too.
Yeah.
Fucking sexy, handsome prick. There's also a thing about so we have the housekeeper Fran, who is really like eyes and ears around there. She tends to know a lot, and she knows things are going on. She has a copy of the toxicology report because she has a cousin that works at the medical office as a receptionist. I love that Fran loves to talk about the Lifetime movie that she watched that's very similar to this.
Danica McKellar.
Yes, it comes up multiple times in this, and I have to ask you, have you seen that one? Because I have not, but now I want to watch it.
No, they made it up for the movie.
Did they?
Yeah.
That disappoints me. I assumed it was a real why would I assume it was a real one?
I don't know.
I'm so naive. I'm like, clearly this is a real movie that I should see. Oh my gosh. I'm crazy. Yeah, so then Marta gets this like ransom letter, not from, well, it turns out it's from Ransom, but it's a ransom letter and she doesn't know it's from Ransom. That makes sense. And she goes to meet someone and it turns out to be Fran, and Fran is dying, and she could walk away and just let Fran die and get away with what she's trying to get away with. But once again, because she is a good person and a nurse, she calls an ambulance, tries to keep Fran alive, and Fran is in the hospital. And it turns out this is like a key thing because eventually she lies and says that Fran is alive when in fact she has died. And that's when Chris Evans' character starts confessing to things. And that scene is The scene is so good, and then she pukes in his face.
She pukes him, and
so
we forgot
gross!
to mention it's so disgusting. But there's this amazing piece of art direction where they have this knife wall art thing, and all the blades are facing in. And he grabs a knife to stab her. There's a lot of like spoilers here.
Yes.
He grabs the knife to stab her, and then it turns out it's a fake knife.
Yes.
So it didn't kill her.
And
then they take him away.
Yeah, that knife setup, and there's like a chair there. It really looks like Game of Thrones, like Iron Throne style. That's all I think of when I see it, but it is really cool looking. And I assume it's inspired by his books or something like that.
Yeah.
But that stuff is also really well done. And it shows how evil and broken Ransom is, that he's like, I'm just going to try to kill you anyway. Like,
yeah, in front of the police, in front of the cops.
Yeah. I'm like, how privileged is that? He probably still thinks he'd get off, actually.
He probably will.
Yeah. He probably will. He probably will. How sad is that? He'll be like fucking Kyle Rittenhouse crying on the stand and
no tears.
So gross. So gross. There's also, this is Christopher Plummer's character's mother is still alive. She must be over 100.
She has to be. He was 85.
Yeah. So she is around, and she also sees a lot. And there is this really, really sweet scene with her and Daniel Craig where he sits down with her and he says, I have a feeling I might be the first to say this to you, but I am so sorry for your loss. And I'm like, that is like such a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
Like, she is so invisible to that family that none of them have tried to comfort her in the fact that her son died. It's there because, once again, they're terrible people.
Right.
They are so terrible. But I will say all the actors are fucking killing it in this movie. They're so good. Toni Collette is so
when
good.
Is she not great?
Yes, there's a shirt you can buy. I saw it on, it's a site called Super Yaki where I bought my Grease 2 shirt. They have a shirt that says, nominate Toni Collette, you cowards. That's all it says. And I'm like, I should get that shirt because she's awesome in every single thing she does. And I love the character because she is this like wannabe Instagram influencer, new agey, kind of goopy, kind of goop adjacent, I would say. I love the scene where she's dancing to like Roxy Music's like More Than This, and she's trying to rope in Jamie Lee Curtis, and Jamie Lee Curtis is like, get the fuck off me.
Jamie Lee Curtis is really great in this movie.
She's so good.
She's so icy and mean.
Yeah. I do think it seemed like she really did love her dad.
Yeah, and her husband's cheating on her.
Yeah.
That's what she's finding out, and her son's a shithead.
Yeah, I think she cares about the money for sure, because they all do. But I think she actually still really did care about her dad. And I think he cared about all of them, even though they were awful.
Yeah.
That's why he was doing what he was doing. He really wanted to help them. Do you have a favorite character or performance in the movie?
I love Chris Evans. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. Ana de Armas is just amazing. She is. I think everyone's just really strong, really good.
Yeah, everyone. I know that people were like about Daniel Craig's accent. I really like it. Is it authentic? I have no fucking idea. But I do really, really like it. And I really like Daniel Craig in this movie. I do think Ana de Armas is like the heart of the movie, but everyone else is so good. I mean, how could you? Chris Evans is. More of these things for him, please. Like,
yes,
he's more than Captain America, just like Daniel Craig is more than James Bond. You know. By the way, did you see the new James Bond movie?
Yes, I did.
I saw it too. We should. We'll talk about that under what else we're dorking out about.
Yep,
that would be a good one. I'm going to go through my notes and make sure. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I'm going through my notes.
I think Honestly, I think I got through everything. I mean, it's only been out for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only, I mean, I really enjoyed it and I super loved it at the time.
Yeah.
And it's some of the movies we talk about, they've been around for like 20, 30, 40 years
Yes.
sometimes. So I have more of a connection, like a lifetime kind of connection to it. Whereas this is a great movie I saw 2 years before, everything turned to shit.
I think I'm gonna add it to like my fall rotation. It feels like
Yes.
fall to me. And like I said, even though I know the mystery, the dialogue between the family, the way they interact with each other, just there's so many lines. Like the line I opened with, the "I will not eat one iota of shit." I didn't even catch that the first time because I remember laughing so hard at Chris Evans going like, eat shit, you definitely eat shit, like pointing at everyone. And like Michael Shannon says, "I will not eat one iota of shit." And I think that line is so funny and I missed it. Or just, and all the stuff about the kid who's literally a Nazi, like the whole thing about like him hiding in the bathroom and he's probably jerking off to like Nazi porn, or like all this stuff that like I just did not catch the first time, when they call him the alt-right troll dipshit. And because he's so gross. He's totally one of those people that's like, Last Jedi's not me. Like, he's one of those people. Rian Johnson made that on purpose. Made that character on purpose.
Well, it's written well and it's directed well. It's just it's really gorgeous to watch.
Yeah,
and he worked overtime to make sure like it timed perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a tight movie. It's over 2 hours. It doesn't feel it because it really moves. And just how he wrote these characters is, I just feel like the more I watch this movie, the more I'm going to appreciate it. Like how Don Johnson's character, that's Silver Fox, he says he's trying to be like he's liberal, but he's not. And then he says he's like, he doesn't even know what country she's from, but then he quotes Hamilton and he's like, "Immigrants, we get the job done." And I'm like,
yeah,
it is like he would be best friends with Bradley Whitford's character from Get Out. That's like, I would vote for Obama a third time. Like they would be friends. They probably play golf together. He's such a prick. He's such a prick. They're all so awful. But then you have another character like Meg. So that's the daughter that goes to some Boston college. I forget what she goes to. And she's like the younger, like, feminist, young, white, super privileged, probably going to be a Karen when she grows up and be like, "I'm going to talk to your manager." And when push comes to shove, she's not that much different than Don Johnson. Like, they're quick to both like try to go after the money, even though like she supposedly, like she's like a liberal, right? And he's conservative, or a liberal who a conservative who pretends to be open-minded. And she's legit open-minded, but what they both have in common is money and privilege. And they're kind of
greed.
And greed. And when it comes down to it, they're the same. And I just think that's really fascinating. There is so much more to this movie than just a whodunit. And the whodunit is really well done. It's really good how they handle it. There's also all this stuff about money and greed and politics and economic disparity. And I just fucking love it. I love this movie. It was
a great choice.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, me too. And like you said, like if we had lived with this movie a little bit longer, we might have like a lot more to say. Although we're at 35 minutes in, we're pretty good. We've said a lot.
Yeah.
It was nominated for Best Original Screenplay. I thought you might like to know. It didn't win. Parasite won. Did you? Parasite's really good.
Yeah.
But other movies that were nominated was 1917. I'm like, I didn't even see that.
I didn't see it.
Marriage Story, which you told me not to see.
No, you're forbidden.
And then the other one is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like,
Except for the Bruce Lee part.
Right. I'm like, actually, if Parasite wasn't in this category, I would go Knives Out.
It's a solid script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a couple more Knives Out movies coming. I think they've committed to 2 more that will follow the Daniel Craig character. And the cast for the next one looks dope. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, tell me.
Edward Norton. Love. Dave Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy. Love him. Catherine Hahn.
Always great.
Janelle Monáe.
Yep.
Leslie Odom Jr. and Kate Hudson.
Yep. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen her in a while.
That's a really good cast.
That's a great cast.
I'm going to see it. And would you like to hear about the top 10 movies of 2 years ago?
Yes, please.
I think you're going to crack up because I'm dying to know how many of these you've actually seen. Because
probably not many. I'm going to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah. Same. So Jumanji, The Next Level.
No.
Nope. Joker.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Not my favorite.
I didn't see it. Aladdin.
Nope.
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yes, loved it.
Okay. I've seen Homecoming, but I haven't seen Far From Home.
I really enjoyed it.
Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw that one too. Toy Story 4.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither. It's even streaming. I could just go watch it.
I don't know why. I like Toy Story.
Me too. You know why?
I'm a fan.
I think because the third one ended in such a good spot for me, it made me hesitant to go to 4.
Yeah.
So I might watch it eventually. Frozen 2?
No.
No? You didn't run out and see Frozen 2?
No. So shockingly, no.
I know you saw this one because we talked about it. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Loved it.
Yep. The Lion King. Nope. And we both saw this one, Avengers Endgame.
Loved it.
So good.
That's one of I watched that one over and over again.
That is
especially like the last hour of that movie. I just fucking love it.
That final battle, man.
It's dope. That earns it. I mean, that is like I said, the last hour of that movie I could watch over and over again.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear about some top songs from 2019, just 2 years ago? Let's see if you recognize any of these. This is going to be the game.
I won't recognize any of them.
All right, Sonia.
Yeah.
Jonas Brothers, Sucker.
Nah.
I think you'd know it. I think you would actually. I'm a sucker for you. It's a good song.
I believe you.
Khalid, Talk.
No.
Travis Scott, yikes. Sicko Mode.
No, I don't. I'm not going to know any of these.
Post Malone, Wow.
Okay, that one I think I know, actually. Okay.
Billie Eilish, Bad Guy. That's a good song.
Okay, I know that one too.
Halsey, Without Me.
Nope.
Okay. Ariana Grande, Seven Rings.
I know who she is.
Yeah, same here. And okay, this was the #1 song 2 years ago. Little Nas and Billy Ray Cyrus, Old Town Road.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that was everywhere. Okay, that one.
Yes.
Do I listen to that song ever? No, but I know what it is.
I like Little Nas though.
Yeah.
I think he's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No issue here. What else are you dorking out about?
Well, of course I had to see No Time to Die as soon as it was streaming.
Same.
And that's the James Bond movie. And Anna de Armas is in there. I was shocked. I was like, who is that? And I had to look up on the IMDb, and she's amazing.
I did not put it together until after when did I put it together? Actually, it might have been when I sat down and watched Knives Out, where I was like, wait a second. She's really good in her stuff in No Time to Die. I mean, they play it up like she's going to be like one of the Bond girls or whatever, but like I really, really liked her stuff in that. She's really great. I really liked the Bond movie. Did you like it?
I loved it. I'm glad I didn't go to the theater to see it. It's a little long,
Yeah.
to be honest. Because it's 2 hours, 45 minutes
That's
as it is.
long.
That's fucking long. And then when you have trailers and, we complain about this shit all the time.
Yeah.
But I super enjoyed it. I think also, I like the Billie Eilish song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
I thought it was a great song. Did they film in Cuba? I think I love the locations. I was genuinely surprised a couple of times.
Yeah.
What happened. I thought the opening sequence with the little girl
He's so good
on the ice, so good. I thought Rami, who am I thinking
Rami
of?
Malek.
I thought he was great.
Yeah.
I thought the little girl at the very end, I liked the girlfriend character for Bond. I mean, she's more than that. She's a badass.
Yeah.
I like that I like Q. I love Ray Fiennes. I think he's really good in there. It's a really well-rounded cast.
Yeah.
It had enough action and it had a lot of heart to it too. I got a little choked up at the end.
Me too.
With the little kid.
Me too.
I really think it was a great movie. I love Bond movies.
I love Bond movies too. And I actually hadn't seen Spectre, so I watched Spectre first. And I think that's what helped. Like, I think it helped that I had literally watched Spectre the night before and then watched No Time to Die the next night. And they connect. So it's a direct sequel to it. Like, a lot of James Bond movies are not. They just kind of move on to the next adventure. I mean, this is definitely a direct sequel to that. And I thought Spectre was good. I know a lot of people hate it, but I did not hate it. I thought it was very enjoyable. I really liked it. I like his chemistry with, I'm going to look up her name, Leah Seydoux, I think is right. I think they have really great chemistry. I really like their relationship. And I really liked No Time to Die. Look, James Bond movies do not make me emotional. Like, Skyfall did a little bit, but like in general, I don't watch For Your Eyes Only and get like, oh.
Well, it was rebranded and redone, and they take the source material more seriously.
Yes.
It's not campy.
No.
Like it's you're supposed to treat it as it's real.
Yeah.
And I kind of prefer that with this. And we talked about it for Book versus Movie, one of my other podcasts, and those books are great. They're really fun. The character is, and I love the fact that they go back to Casino Royale. Like, they're keeping that universe together. And I super enjoyed it.
Me too. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but there's, I just really liked how it went. It didn't go where I thought it was going to go. There's some callbacks to some of the earlier Daniel Craig movies and some callbacks to like earlier James Bond movies. They're like in the first half of the movie, like he says like, we have all the time in the world, and I was like, oh boy.
No, you don't.
I remember that from, I think, is it from Her Majesty's Secret Service, I think. And that line means something if you've seen all the other Bond movies. So it's really, really good. And I thought Daniel Craig was such a good James Bond. I really like this movie. It seemed like a really good end, and we'll watch again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at your request, I also watched Love Hard on Netflix.
Isn't it great?
And it is really, really great. If y'all haven't seen Love Hard, it is Netflix's new holiday movie, and then it stars Jimmy O Yang. He's a comedian who I've only seen like clips of. I haven't watched his special yet, but he's really good. And Nina Dobrev from Vampire Diaries. I didn't know she was funny. She's really funny in this.
She's adorable. Everybody drink. She's adorable in this movie. And I love the premise is that they meet on a dating app, and his favorite movie is Love Actually, and her favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard. And that's why it's called Love Hard.
Which I didn't put together till the end.
Yeah, I didn't. It took me a while to get to it. They're like, oh, that makes sense. I like it that it's the Hallmark movie, but they curse. They're a little more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best friend is really hilarious
Yes.
at the beginning. I thought it was genuinely funny. I love the family characters, his family, and his brother and his wife were a pain in the ass, and then you kind of like they come around.
Yes.
Look, it's not going to shock you what happens in this movie.
No.
It does what it's supposed to do. But for a holiday movie, it's perfect.
Yeah. You were like, you should watch it. And I was like, all right, I'm in. And so I watched it. I laughed out loud, which I was not expecting. And I think that they had actually really good chemistry. I like how they played off of each other. There are a couple things where, like, script-wise, it had some problems where I was like, well, what happened to blank? And shouldn't she apologize to blank? And, stuff like that. Once again, I don't want to spoil things for people, but, like, there were a couple of things where I was like, well, that's shitty. She should apologize. Or, hey, what happened to that best friend that was so hilarious? We never see her again. But I still really like the movie. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Look, my problem with Netflix movies, their original productions.
Yeah.
And I think Roxane Gay has said this. Like, I've read this a couple of places, and maybe I'm just taking their thoughts. And this is how I feel. They're always like 75 to 80% there. There's a lot of good stuff there, but like you said, there's holes in it that if they just spent another month or two patching it up.
Yeah.
It would be perfect. But they have so much content that they're trying to get out there that they just don't have that kind of time. And I think eventually they will. I mean, so yes, you're right. There are a couple of plot. You're not meant to take it that seriously.
No, by the way, I was like, don't think so hard when you watch it.
Don't think too hard.
It's not called think hard. It's called love hard.
Love hard. For a holiday movie where we know where it's going to end up. Mm-hmm. It has those tropes. It still manages to be different, unique. It's funny. There's a couple of scenes where there's like a scene where she does karaoke, and I'm not going to give away the joke.
Oh my God. I laughed so hard.
I laughed so hard. It was so funny.
And when they go Christmas caroling, that made me laugh too. Yeah. Like it's funny. It speaking of movies that are like almost there, that's how I felt about Always Be My Maybe with Ali Wong.
Exactly.
Like, it was another one that I was like, this had like really funny parts, and you like everyone so much. I'm like, you're almost there. Almost.
Right.
But I actually think this one's funnier than Always Be My Baby. I think the Keanu Reeves thing in Always Be My Maybe is like fucking hilarious. Like, that is the best part of that whole movie. But I think overall, I actually think this one's a little funnier. I like this one more. So thanks for the rec, Margo.
Charmed by it. Yeah, and I have another rec for you for Netflix.
Ooh, yeah.
And this is something I brought up because I'm writing a book about movies filmed in Brooklyn. I found this movie was filmed in Brooklyn, and it just came out, and it's called Passing. And Rebecca Hall, Passing.
Okay.
And Rebecca Hall is an actress and a director and a writer. The book is based on the book was by Nella Larson. It came out 100 years ago, and it's set in 1920s New York City. And there's two African-American women, and one of them is very light-skinned and passes for white. And the other one is light-skinned but doesn't pass for white. And Alexander Skarsgård is in this movie.
Skarsgård.
Tessa Thompson.
I love her.
She's in there. Ruth Nega, she plays the friend. It's black and white, New York City, 1920s, with the Art Deco, with the brownstones, with the jazz music.
Oh, this is my jam. I'm in.
The cinematography is gorgeous. The story is sad, and it'll break your heart. I mean, it's just, there's a lot that's going on.
Thank you that's a trigger warning. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's sad. I mean, I'm not going to say you're going to leave it like sunshine, lollipops. I mean, it's going to be but it's very moving.
Okay.
And it talks about a lot of things that people don't talk about. And I really, really enjoy it. I think, and also I want to support independent productions,
Yes.
women directors, stories about women of color. It turns out Rebecca Hall, if you look her up, she appears white. She appears Caucasian. Her mother is actually half black and half white.
Oh,
and her
okay.
mother, so that's how her mother passed. Do you understand?
Mhm.
Like that the whole expression is the character of Ruth Negga is that she's so light skinned that she's married to a white man and he doesn't know that she's part African American.
Oh,
And he's a real dick.
Of course he
So-
is. I'm gonna definitely
he's
put this on the
gorgeous.
list.
So put that on the list, you guys. I think it's on Netflix. Support an independent production, somebody who, it's women directors, women at the center of a story. It's really, really, and just beautifully shot.
All right, I'm in. I'm watching it.
Yep.
Where can people find you on the internet, Margo?
You could find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick for Twitter and Instagram. My site is brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm just starting to get into the TikTok. This new thing I hear kids are into. Yes. I think I'm finally figuring out how to get, because I turn it on. It's like so loud and quick.
Mhm.
That I'm like, and there's a lot of shit I don't want to see.
Yeah.
That jumps. It takes a while for them to act, to develop your tastes. But
Yes.
it's like I want Real Housewives and and pets
Mm-hmm.
and anti Bobby Flay. That's what I'm into.
I'm here for the Bobby Flay slander.
That's here. Yep.
Speaking of, if you like the sound of our voices, we co-host another podcast. It's called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps, and then we end the episode with someone who's not a creep. This week's creep is Bobby Flay, and there's a ton of Bobby Flay slander on TikTok, and it's hilarious and interesting. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok, where I'm there for the Bobby Flay slander. If you would like some stickers for Dorking Out Show, you could email us at dorkingout@gmail.com, and we take requests, and y'all have been doing it too, by the way. I've been writing down all your requests and sending them to Margo, and I mean, even this episode was a request, so please send your request. We'd love it. And please give us a review on Apple Podcasts. I know they don't make it easy, but we would love it. And we'll give you a shout out on the show. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com and on Twitter and Facebook. I am really glad that we did Knives Out. This is going to be one of my new fall movies. I love it. Yay. Thank you.
Yay, sweaters.
Yay, sweaters. Now I'm going to go order one of those sweaters for myself and my dogs.